Right, welcome. Here we go again. It's probably been a while since you tuned in, at least a week. At least a week since I last chatted to you. And what have we got to show for that? Well, I've been working on the chat. So this is the sort of zoomed out shot. So what we'll do is we're going to zoom in and I'll just move the camera and then refocus it. So we'll just swing you around and turn you manually. Oh, very nice. Just adjust the focus. Okay, and play with the camera. Let's go to here. You can see work that's been done on him. So his hair has been done with pastel up here, and we've got some pastel pencil for the highlights. We've got bits of turquoise and ochre and reds and greens and blues in there to give them some volume. And he's ready for fine tuning. There's still a bit of normal tuning to do, so I'm going to go a bit darker up here. He doesn't yet have his eyelashes, which are going to be swooping out here. A few touch-ups around the eyebrow. Bit on his nose to fix. This I'm not touching, I don't think, any more around his cheek. I'm fairly happy with that. Got a bit of his lip to address, but his lip's getting there. The moustache is okay. This caused me a lot of grief. So originally I did his face in Pastel, and I'd been thinking I really want reflected colour from his jacket to come up into his face, but his face was too hot. So we've done a lot of cooling down off the face with greens and blues. And a magenta sort of is that going to show up? I don't know if you can see that. It's I call it magenta, but it could be a deep pink. But I haven't touched the violet, so we haven't gone into, which some people call purple. I haven't gone into the shade. Any purpley colours are mixtures of blues and reds. So after I'd cracked on and got his face on, which was just an absolute, looked like he had really bad sunburn. Then I spent most of last week, putting on what felt like hundreds of layers of different colours to get to mould the shape, try and get that eyeball under control. And the way that he's turning, there's a bit of foreshortening going on. So other tweaks to do is adjust the brightness of his collar. Tone this down because it needs to be in shadow. Bring up a few more shadows under his collar. This is all, his jacket's done. That's all complete. And I toned back the background. So the background's been muted and adjusted. we're nearly there with that. So we're going to do a little bit of work on her today. So let's bring our camera down and around. And I haven't finished his eye because I will work on I've got to fix this eye of hers. And before I start doing her eye, I'll get her hair done. I've just started work on the earrings, so I'll crack on with those today. And there's some a bit of colour adjustment on her neck. He's clearly in dark shade there, and I was going to, so the back of her neck is in dark shade, and I need to, I think I'll just pull around shade, sort of around here. But I'm not going to overly shade her face. I was, the last stream I said, oh, I'm going to darken up her face a lot more. And I've decided, no, in fact, I will not be doing that. We'll just zoom in a little bit. Just adjust the focus again. We're all good to go. Right, so earring, we'll get those done, and some shading around here, and I may look at her eye later. Okie dokie. And some music in my ears, that's what we want. But overall, this week's been pretty good. Been fairly happy with the progress on his face. The whole piece of art has slowed down dramatically, as I said in my description. Well, a big chunk of it is done in Pastel, so all sort of around her dress, the background, his hair, the jacket, all Pastel. As soon as I get onto the pastel pencils, I slow right down, and it just takes however long it's going to take. I don't want... I need to understand... Get this picture sorted a bit better. To understand a bit better what colour I'm going to do. And her earrings. I think I want a green. I don't actually want this particular green, but I'll just get it going. as an undercolouring. We'll go light to dark. Live a little. I would have done a stream on Friday, although I probably would have done that on Substack. I had a funeral to go to for deaf friend, and had a lovely turnout for his memorial service. Lots from the deaf community. He had a huge family. My wife knows sign language. She's always been good with language. She did Latin when she was a girl. She knows how to speak a bit of Mandarin. I tried to learn sign language, but I was pretty useless. Fortunately, my friends were very good at lip reading and knowing when I had the blank look that they needed to say it again, but more slowly. Over a bit. If anyone pops in. Everything's running properly. What's it doing with that green? Was it this one? It was. Very lightly scrumble it. So green with a red pulls it down, and you can use green for green and red make an excellent black. We do want to darken this up. So, no problems here. Getting our greens going. Eat your greens. In this case, don't worry about using green in skin. It's quite normal. I know I've said it before, and unfortunately the thing with YouTubers or any creator who, whether they're writing a blog or doing videos or podcasts, you end up repeating yourself quite a lot. So, if you've heard this before, it's okay. But green and red makes an excellent black. You want to darken up this back of her neck. Yeah. And underneath our skin, where our veins are, some show up as blue on some people and others show up as green. So that's why you'll see green in skin. And the thing with doing a painting, so I've been working on this since May. And the longer I look at the reference photo, the more I read it. And I've found that art is all about teaching your eyes to see. And typically, I find that my eyes make huge assumptions. And they think something is one colour when it's not. And it just takes time to keep looking at the reference photo to go, oh, that's what it is. With a darker green. How dark dare we go? Maybe a petrol. Anyway, my friend had 442 people turn up for his funeral. Seemed like a pretty good number. This red might be a bit hot. Now, once you've got a pencil in your hand, let it go do what it wants to do. Don't be scared. It's just a really funny post. Someone was shared one of the messages on LinkedIn, and this person was asking, they must have been selling something on Etsy or something, and they said, "Oh, do you ship to Spain? I'll pay for the shipping." And the person replied, "I don't ship outside the US, sorry." Well, what does it say? "I don't ship outside the US, I'm afraid." And it got lost in translation because the person replied, "What are you afraid of? Don't be afraid." I was like, oh, fantastic. I hope that translates outside of Kiwi humour. Anyway, once you've got the colour in your hand, don't be afraid. What will happen is you'll start seeing everywhere that it belongs. And I mean, I see it up in the ear. I am not touching her ear though, because that ear is done. I'm very happy with her ear. It's one of the best ears I've decided I've done. Yeah, I'm just going to keep getting a bit more darkness. And I've got a feeling this green is my friend in here. This is this blue, a Geoconda. Just such a great shadow. We will put in some darker. Not some darker magenta though. And I'm tempted to get the violets in here. I have decided that her dress, let's just zoom out a little bit. Sorry, let me just get hold of my camera. Take that. Go back to... Go down so you can see her dress. So this right up to here is fine. I'm okay with that. And because what's happening is it's collecting all the light is hitting his jacket and bouncing onto her. That's totally fine. But over here, I want to turn these. I've put in a magenta for the shadows. There is a little bit of violet in there. Violet is in the pastels is a more blue, whereas magenta is red. So when you go dark magenta, dark shade, it's just a very deep red violet, whereas violet is a blue violet. So I want this part of her dress to be blue, and the reason I want it to be blue is if I scroll up, and if you look at his hair and his jacket, he's got a blue collar, he's got blue hair in the shade. So the eye needs to track down here, and we want to get blues around her in the shadow area, and then blues coming down her dress. We'll get this nice thing here, whereas the red is going to go from, see if I just zoom right out, because I don't think I'm showing this properly. Preset 1. Just move the camera back. Sorry. Just so I can tell you the story. That's better. Okay, so the reds I want to come up this way. This is red, and it's gonna. This is magenta up here, right? Up in the window. So the reds are going to come up. They're going to hit her face. They're going to hit his face. Red. Blue is coming down. This part of her hair is going to be blue. Blue shadows on her neck and blue on her dress. So then we'll have a better story. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Let me just swing this back round and see if we can get a... we go. I'll just move this manually in. Okay. So I think my painting is about 70% done. And I've chatted with I've forgotten her name. Anyway, she's a subscriber, and occasionally she pops in here, busy learning French at the moment, I believe. I am sorry. You know who you are if you're watching on replay, and I am sorry I've forgotten your name. I know you live in Canada, and you are busy learning French. And we've discussed before about when do we know a painting is done. And this is quite an important thing for anyone who's doing art or any creative activity, actually. How do you know when your work is done? And I think most people stop whatever they're working on when they're tired of it, when they've reached some sort of level of exhaustion. And I know I've certainly felt exhausted with this painting. But if I was to sell this picture, which I do hope to at some stage, I've got to say, do I think it's acceptable for my buyer to take it as is? Or could I do better? Is it really of a standard that's good enough to be hung on someone's wall? And at this current stage in the painting, the answer is no. And of course, you know, well, her hair isn't done, and he doesn't have eyelashes, and her eyes aren't done. You go, well, of course, you can't sell it just yet because it's not done. I could actually sell it right now and just call it under construction. That would be totally acceptable. I've got to look at all the aspects of it and go, is it done? And there's parts of it that are done. So, and they're best described as being done in that I need to just leave them as is. I don't want to overwork it. So what's the answer to when is it done? Well, that's only something you can respond to. There's a difference between the painting being done and you being done with the painting. And I know I've had paintings where I'm absolutely done with the painting. I need to just let it go. Got a way to go. Hello, Donna. I hope you're all good. Okay, that's a nice blue. That in here too. Is that an ultramarine? Yes, it is. Just using the reds and the blues to create violets rather than bring in a violet. Don't need. It's nicer to blend sometimes than use colour straight. At least I find it that way. That's a terrible waiting game to play too, Donna. Sorry about that. No one wants to be sitting around waiting for bad news. That skin tone right on here. We're just working on earrings today, Donna. And adjusting tonal values. Get some nice darkness. That green. looking for some light. Jack. Where is something that's there's a bit on her face that chin I'd missed. Read. This comes. Here we go. I think. Let's have a look at her earring again. What's going on in here? We still need to Let me read some messages here. Just here, a couple of messages. I like her dress. It looks like real material, especially near her arm. Thank you. Thank you, Donna. Let's take the camera out. Hello. Bit more cable. And use the software. So is that a headshot? What we need is a brush. Just a gentle brush. Keep working on those earrings. I'm not happy with them yet, but we'll come back to them. It's sometimes you just got to block stuff in, and as I was saying earlier, a little bit of fallen pastel. There's a wee bit there too. There we go. Brush is excellent for picking up all the little bits. So our story. So I'll pull this back. More. Come back. More. So the story I want to tell is that his hair has got blue in it. His face has got blue in it. Blue and greens. Those blue and greens need to come down this way. So you'll see me doing green in her hair and blue. So her hair, I want to... all the darks are going to be blues. And then we've got these pearls to do in her hair. And then coming up, and so her dress, this part of her dress, I want to change this to violet and blues. But coming up this way is red. So we've got the red of his uniform reflecting onto her dress, reflecting onto this part of her face, reflecting up through his face as well. So we've got blues coming down, but reds going up, and then we've got a magenta up the top. And that's the story. And in his buttons, we've got turquoise and blue. But that turquoise and blue needs to somehow get replicated into her teardrop earrings. Still got, I've got to fix up his moustache. Probably needs, either his lip needs to go a bit higher, or the moustache needs to come down a wee bit. But there is a gap between the top of his lip and where the moustache goes, because we're actually looking up his face. So there's this foreshortening. Got eyelashes to do, need to fix this eye, eyelashes and her eye. But we've started to get more blue today, so I've got the shadow coming down her face. I'm pretty happy with that. And I think her hair might be the next task for me to work on this week. Very happy with the ear. That's great. His nose has taken shape. I'm happy with the shape of his eye, his eyebrow. Uniform's fine, that's fixed. But half her dress needs to be addressed. So thank you for the comments. And next time you pop in to see how it's going, we'll have some more done. And thank you, William, for sharing your drawings. They were excellent. So your the new one you're doing was actually sort of similar. So I hope you have a crack at putting colours next to each other to see what happens. So rather than just doing a whole block colour, so if I zoom in on her face, let's see if I can zoom in from here. Oops. That seems a bit harsh, but you'll see that there's tons of different colours pop next to each other, and by having a different colour next to each other, you'll get that complementary effect, and they will start popping. So rather than just trying to blend them all in together or doing a single colour and then doing a shading, see what happens if you try putting one next to another. It's all an experiment, right? It's like, I find it quite hard to replicate one technique. I can't replicate my techniques, which is why I don't do any teaching. Every painting is a conversation with the pastels, and it'll happen as it happens. Sometimes it happens the way you want it to do, and other times you go, well, that was a weird conversation. And so far it's shaping up. It's okay. So thank you very much for Donna for being here with me. I hope the waiting game, well, what can I say? I'm just sorry that that's the case for you. And I'm sure I'll see you during the week. Until next time.